Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Amy and this is my little space on the internet. Here I love to create videos and vlogs. Sometimes my dog, Pipit, you want to come here, introduce yourself? Sometimes my dog likes to join in and sit in all of my key shots with her big head, her big beautiful head that we love. Like I was saying, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Amy. I like to make videos here on YouTube about yoga, wellness, slow living, conscious living. Today I wanted to do more of a sit down chat style video and you're gonna sit down here with me. Thanks, bud. Today I just wanted to talk about some spiritual lessons that I wish I learnt earlier. And I say this, but then I also am a firm believer that all of the lessons that we receive come in the time that they are meant to. And sometimes you have to hear things repeated over and over and over again until they finally stick and resonate with you. First lesson that I wish I learned earlier was that there isn't just one path for enlightenment or for a spiritual seeker path. And this kind of seems like self-explanatory, like you think I would have known this, and I think on some level I did. But I'm also speaking of in regards to like the training that I did. So the first yoga teacher training that I did was a classical yoga teacher training, which is a lot of yoga teacher trainings. A lot of yoga teacher trainings are gonna be based around the 8-limbed path, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And it is a really profound and beautiful path to take, and it definitely can help you on the path to awakening because it gives you a very like step-by-step guide. But it was only this year that I realized that that wasn't the only path available to me. And in regards to having a spiritual practice, it's not the only way to have a spiritual practice. For me, it was a really profound realization, and I think especially just fresh after my yoga teacher training, I kind of got stuck into this like one path, and if anything deterred from there, I felt like I wasn't on the right one. But our spiritual paths are all going to be so uniquely different to us, but there's also just so many portals to which you can access consciousness, to where you can access a deeper connection with the world around you. There's so many portals into that, and I think we really like to give ourselves parameters and structure because, you know, having that step-by-step kind of guide to awakening is, I don't know, it feels safe, it feels comfortable, it feels known. Whereas when you start to kind of venture out from there, it can feel a little bit like muddled and messy and kind of chaotic. But then like that can also be a path. Like the path doesn't have to be linear or make sense or have like a very direct route. It can be fluid and changing. And I think that's what makes it really beautiful. When it comes to yoga teacher trainings as well, something that I want to kind of talk about in another video is a lot of yoga teacher trainings teach classical yoga, but that as well is not the only path. Like that's not the only lineage that you can call from. That's not the only path that you can take. This year I have been practicing a lot more under tantric yoga teachers. I did a tantric yoga teacher training this year, and personally that feels way more aligned with me, and it kind of opened this like doorway into like, oh wow, there's actually so many different paths that you can take that isn't just the path of renunciation, which is like classical yoga. And so that was like a big lesson for me to learn recently. Kind of along the similar path of awakening and the path to awakening is, I think I used to think that awakening was like this thing that just happened and then you were awake, like that was it. Like you just had this one like big powerful experience. And I think as well, like I thought that it was like once you were awakened that like that was it, like you're there. But in reality, again, this might seem really obvious, but in reality, awakenings happen all the time. All the time, like every single day, every single moment, there is the potential for another awakening to happen. An awakening is essentially just the waking up of a dormant or sleeping element of yourself. As a movement and breathwork facilitator, having people experience what it's like to really be in their body and in their breath, I feel like that in and of itself can be a really profound and potent awakening for a lot of people. So many people feel really numb to their body, really numb to their emotions. They aren't conscious of their breathing, And the minute they become conscious of their breath, that's an awakening. The minute they feel really in tune with their bodies, that's an awakening. There's so many different awakenings that we can have, and it's not just something that happens and then you're done. It's like, and I find it really funny that there's like, you know, like, oh, I had my spiritual awakening, and it's like, I feel like we're having those constantly every single day. Kind of similar to that is enlightenment. I think, especially coming from a classical yoga history, like having that as one of my foundational teachings. On that path, it's kind of said that, you know, you go through the 8 limbs. Sometimes you don't make it to samadhi in this lifetime, so you have to be reborn and do it all over again. And it's not until you kind of like reach this like out of body state, and usually in death, that you come to like enlightenment. And I'm just not sure if that really resonates with me anymore, because if I'm honest with myself, I feel like I've experienced moments of enlightenment. I don't think I'm enlightened. I would never say that I'm enlightened, but I feel like I've had moments of it, you know, like, and I feel like those moments can happen just in times where you feel deeply connected to the universe, to yourself, to the natural world in which you inhabit. Those moments where you feel alive and feel free, you know, even if they're just for a split second, you are experiencing a moment of enlightenment. And you know, maybe this is like a personal belief thing, but for me, I feel like we have the potential to have all of these moments of enlightenment in this life right here and now. It's not something that you just achieve in death or achieve by checking off this list of, I need to do this and then this and then this. I need to master my mind, my body, my breath, my energy. I need to do all of these things. And then even then, maybe I need to die and go to the higher realms in order to be enlightened. But you know, I experience little tiny snapshots of enlightenment when I am sitting under a tree reading my book, and I look up at the sky and I just feel deeply held by the universe. I feel enlightenment when I sit and look out across the ocean and feel the waves moving in me as much as I'm seeing them cascade onto the beach. You know, there's all of these potential moments that we have to have these moments of enlightenment. And you know, maybe to rest in that state eternally is what you could consider enlightenment. But I feel like we definitely can experience moments of enlightenment in every single day. In this lifetime, it is possible. Learning that made me soften a lot more into this journey, because it became less about trying to reach this destination of enlightenment and more about just feeling those moments as they arose within me, around me, with me. Another lesson I feel like I'm actually in the process of really feeling into is the power of being in community. I think solitude can be a really sacred and beautiful and sometimes a really necessary thing. I've been in a space of solitude for quite a few years now. I do have a bit of a tendency to be a bit of a hermit, and I did that for a long time, and it was really healing and really beautiful. But I am emerging from that now, and I've just had the most profound shifts undergo within the container of community. To be in a space with other people can be such a transformative experience. When we come together and we channel our collective frequencies, vibrations into this desire to transform the world, to awaken and enliven in ourselves and each other, something magical happens. There's such power in sharing space with one another. One of my teachers, I remember doing a class of hers, and she has repeated this phrase quite a few times, but it's like, as you're undergoing this process of waking up, take as many people as you can with you, like kicking and screaming, bring them in, because there's no point in ascending if you're just doing it by yourself. Like, try to bring people with you, do it in community, try to wake up the rest of the world, because like, what are you going to gain by like reaching enlightenment, even if that is something that you can reach and attain? What's the point in getting there if you're just going to be by yourself? Like, try to bring people with you, be in community, be with one another, because that's where so much magic unfolds. Just been so deeply grateful for the co-regulation that I have received by being in relationship with other people. I was driving into the studio the other day and I started to feel really anxious and I didn't even really know why. And I stepped into the studio and I was met by a couple of the girls who I see there quite often, and they all just extended out to me. I was just so held in this container, and within like a few minutes I just felt myself being able to really come into a space of regulation again. I felt everything starting to slow down. I felt so much more at peace. And that was after me spending a good 20 to 30 minutes in the car trying to self-regulate and it not really working, and then to come into this space and to be held by others and to feel how powerful co-regulation is. As humans, we are part of a collective whole. We're not designed to be in solitude for long, you know, we're meant to be in community. We are an organism. Co-regulation is such a huge part of being human, and I think we put a lot of focus on self-regulation these days, which is definitely beautiful and amazing and powerful to be able to soothe yourself, but I just hope that it's not at the sacrifice of co-regulation and knowing that you can extend yourself out to other people and you can ask for help and you can find people who want to love you and support you and who will. Those are some of the lessons, the spiritual teachings that I wish I had learned sooner, but in all honesty, I know I learned them at the right time when I was meant to. I hope some of these resonated with you. Thank you so deeply for being here, for sharing this container with me. Until we're able to meet again soon, peace.